for picking a boot for hiking, I've got a shoe on right now, but a good idea with an actual hiking boot is, first of all, you've got to go for a good foundation. So you want to make sure you've got a good tread on your boot that gives you some good traction. But you don't want a tread that's so heavy that it starts picking up things like mud and debris, because every bit of weight that you add on your feet during the day is like 3 pounds on your back.
Let me ask you, mud shedding soles? Are those the kind that you're looking for, or?
Well, mud shedding soles.
Like say in the army boots, they have the mud shedding soles for swamp boots and
Yeah, the
stuff.
Panama pattern they call it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could look for those, but there's other patterns depending on where you're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like they tend to rate your boots according to the difficulty of the trail. The uppers match the lug that you're using. So if you're going to do a rough rambling, you're going to have a little bit more aggressive. But if you're going on a manicured trail area, you're almost wearing a sneaker.
Right.
Right. Okay. But the thing you definitely want to do is anytime you carry weight, you want some ankle support. So you've got to get a higher boot than a shoe when you're carrying a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of really quick key things to look for when you're picking out a boot and you're hiking. Seams. More seams there are in a boot, there's more spots for it to be weak.
Right.
So you want to make sure you don't have a boot with a lot of seams. Your hiking shoes are a different story. These got a lot of seams on them. I use these for street shoes, stuff like that. But you usually find that's where you're going to get your ripping at. You want to make sure you got a comfortable fit from side to side. So get your width. Never go early. Wait. Be patient to pick out your boots. Walk around for the day before you go trying on boots. Because as you walk through the day, your weight causes your feet to spread. The heat and everything causes your feet to swell. So you want to pick them at the end of the day, because what will happen to you is if you're going hiking with a backpack, the minute you put the extra weight on, your feet will expand to the size that they would having walked around for most of the day, right off the bat. So you're going to get up in the morning, you're going to put your boots on, they're going to fit, then you're going to start putting the extra weight on you and start walking, and they're going to really hurt at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You want your boots to be fitted after your feet have expanded.
Now, do you want them snug, or do you want them, because are you going to allow for material stretching at all, or, especially a new boot, shouldn't you allow for material stretching?
I would say what you've got to do, this is where it comes with experience, and you got to feel it. If you put the boot on and you're like wearing a thin set of cotton socks, mm-hmm. and you're tight, and the salesperson says to you, "Oh, they're leather, but they'll stretch." No.
Right.
Okay. What you want is if you're wearing a thinner sock than you normally do, which you shouldn't be, you should be taking your regular hiking combo with you. And I do mean combo.
Right.
You turn around, you put your boots on with it, and it feels snug, not tight, but snug. You will get a little stretch, but you got to remember too, if you get overstretched, if you put a pair of boots that are on too loose, then you're going to get sloppy in them. You can only cinch your shoelaces up so much. Stretch, if you get a little stretch and they start getting a little sloppy, it's just a matter of tightening up your laces a little bit. So you should always pick them later on in the day, and at best, a light snugness with your hiking combo on. And what I mean by your hiking combo on is everybody's, right now I look around, everybody's wearing these little tiny little bebopper cheerleader socks. Ankle socks. That's fine for urban wear and stuff. But when you go hiking, you should have stuff that protects your ankles. You should have stuff that helps support your feet with cushioning. And you should also have stuff that keeps the moisture away from your feet. Because as you're sweating into your boot during the day, you're going to start building soft skin. Soft skin starts moving around with the friction. The friction starts causing a callus. The callus rips loose. You've now got a blister, or you start out with a blister in the first place. So what you should have is a wicking layer base, which is a really thin sock that has a dual layer system to it that does not allow moisture to sit next to the skin and wicks it away out towards the outer layer sock, your insulating sock. And then you're going for a nice, thick, comfortable sock. With the technology they have out today, there's tons of stuff, especially with hiking socks. You'll notice hiking socks have paneling to them. So there's nice extra cushion paneling for the bottom of the sole of the foot and some extra resistance on the heel so it lasts a little longer. And then they lighten up from the ankle so that way your ankles aren't constantly hot and you get some flexibility and the elastic isn't choking off your ankle.
May I say something real fast?
Sure.
There's very few things you can buy that will increase your happiness in life than good socks. Buy good socks. Don't skip on your socks. Get good ones. The other thing is, in wintertime, where if it's not strictly hiking, I always want my winter boots a little looser than my summer boots, even after I account for my thicker socks, because the circulation's so vital in the winter.
Yeah, that's one thing too. You also got to pick your boots for the time of year. What I do with my hunting boots is they sell a lot of boots with insulation in them right now. I never count on the insulation with the hunting boots or any of the winter boots totally and just leave it at that. I always make sure that my fit's roomy enough in there so that way I could add extra layers if I have to. A thicker sock. Basically, we're not talking about adding more socks, but they do have different layers, like a light, medium, and heavyweight sock.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely good quality pair of socks. And as far as socks go, I can never stress it enough as far as the socks area goes. You want to keep them wet, you want to keep them fresh. I've worked for 12 hours straight.
Keep them dry.
Yeah.
Keep them
You
dry.
say keep
dry,
them
no,
wet, keep them fresh.
Huh?
You say keep them wet, keep them fresh?
No, keep them dry and keep them fresh.
Okay.
Did I say wet and fresh?
You did say wet.
It's
Oh, sorry.
cool.
Keep
all right.
them from being wet. Keep them fresh. Sorry. What you want to do is you want to keep them from being wet, keep them fresh. And what I mean by fresh is I've worked a 12-hour day, and what I'll do to rejuvenate myself partway through the day is I will sit down and change into a fresh pair of socks.
Yep. Do you ever
They're not
wash
dry,
socks
they're
in the
lighter.
trail?
I'll wash them on the trail, but a lot of times what I'll do is if I'm near a source of water and it's not really that big of a deal, you've got enough cinch straps on your backpack. If you haven't really sweat too heavily in them, but they're a little damp, sometimes, you know, as long as you don't have, they're not really dirty or anything like that, I just hang them from my backpack as I walk and they dry up.
Okay.
And the fresh air kind of cleans them up, makes them smell nice, takes them out, especially the insulating layer socks. So when I'll stop for break, the rule that I usually do on a very heavy hike heavy hike where my backpack is heavy, is I will, each break I stop for, like every serious break to have food, like lunch, I change the socks. So, and then, so I make sure that I have dry, fresh socks.
So you pack a lot of socks on a trip.
Well, no, what you're
cycle
doing is
them.
you're
You
drying them. You're
You
soaking
just,
them.
oh, okay.
Like you're not really wearing them very long enough to get dirty, but you want to make sure you don't get a lot of sweat in them.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if you're gonna pack, if you want to skimp on a piece of underwear, you skimp on the underwear, maybe a t-shirt. Everybody puts up with your smell, but don't skimp on the socks.
Like they say in the Army, your feet are your life.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
You're very important. Now, when you fit a boot, like I said, you want good side to side. Key to also fitting a boot front to back is to make sure that when you put the boot on or the shoe on, with the shoe undone, you can put a finger in behind your heel and touch the bottom. It's a little high. It's a little hard with high top boots to get that finger in there. So you might want to make sure you got like a dowel or a thick pencil or something with you that you can find that. The reason being is when you tighten the boot up and your boot is sucked back into a good solid heel socket, which is one of the things you're looking for. When you tighten that boot up, put your foot back in that heel socket, you do not want your toes still touching the front. You want a little space between the front and your toes. So that way when you're going down terrain or you're going rumbling around terrain and it's switching on you, you're not bruising your toes by jamming up against the front of the boot.
You got 2 minutes.
So basically, that's just some high spots on picking out your boots, and good luck with them. And make sure that you pick them out. It's also one boot doesn't fit everything. You got to make sure you pick out the boot for the right job. Another note that I thought I just forgot about too is the structure of your sole is really important. A lot of these boots are ergonomically correct, supposedly with rounded heels and stuff like that. That really detracts from the amount of traction that you can get on certain types of steps to dig in a heel.
Now, what about arch support? I know it's probably a bigger subject,
Well, arch supports are a bigger subject. People with arch problems, the reason why I didn't touch on that is people with arch problems. A good boot will have good arch support in it. You can put inserts in it, but people with arch problems
should get our
will know
custom
to bring their own
orthotic.
supports.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll be aware of it. It's kind of like an affliction that you kind of hopefully educate yourself on.
Right.
Good.
Good. All right.